Hello, people of the internet. This is Shaky Jake, and I really need a catchphrase. You are watching Spider-Man by Neversoft, and previously on Spider-Man, we encountered the symbiotes for the first time. Our alliance with Venom was cut short because he went off to try and find Carnage, and we finally found out who the imposter Spider-Man was at the beginning of the game in the form of Mysterio, who is one of my favourite characters in this game simply because of how he's portrayed, and it's one of my favourite portrayals of the character, because any other game that I've played with Spider-Man in that has Mysterio, I'm not as fond of how he's shown there. So, that might be my childhood talking, because, you know, personal bias. But we're going to start the final part of the game in issue 6 with the first level, Waterfront Warehouse, and we're wearing the Ben Reilly costume for the remainder of the game, which looks pretty much like Spider-Man except with a couple of differences. So let's begin. And this is going to be the final part. It is a very short game, to be honest, now that I'm playing this 18 years later. So issue 6.
I'm here, Frank. What's up?
Spider-Man's here, microchip.
What range?
100 yards, maybe. Easy shot.
Very funny, Frank.
Huh? He spotted me, but how could he?
Spider sense.
I lost him.
What happened?
He took out my scope.
Hey, tough guy. Sorry about that expensive lens, Punisher.
Something tells me we have the same objective here. That's the place. Warehouse 65. We can team up. You cover my back.
Huh. No thanks, Mr. Death Wish. I'd like to keep the body count low, if you don't mind.
Fair enough.
Punisher's guns can't solve this problem. Gotta play this one my way.
I always did find it odd how the police literally gave up their conquest of Spider-Man after the second... Well, sorry, the second part of this game. It's very weird.
The cliche seedy waterfront warehouse. Although, I'm guessing that this particular warehouse has a bit more in store for the webhead than even he can imagine.
Oh, more symbiotes. Looks like the old Spidey luck is holding out.
Now the cool
clean this place up too.
Now the cool thing about this level is they give you lots of flammable objects to throw at the symbiotes to make your life a little bit easier, so we'll demonstrate that now.
This looks flammable.
And it feels so good to have a constant supply of fire, because the symbiotes are literally the most difficult enemies in the game. So I need to get some fire web of my own. Annoyingly, you can't destroy the machines by just webbing them, as far as I believe. Yeah, you can't. So I've just wasted that just to prove a point. Although you can take them out quicker with the web balls, but we want to conserve it as much as possible. And actually, you know what? Use the bowels. Be easier.
This'll give you a heartburn.
Oh, heartburn. Lovely. That was a mistake. Let's not do that again. I need to pick up another one. I do like Stan Lee's narration in this game. It's very underused, but when it's there, it's a really nice touch. And I think this game was actually my introduction to Stan Lee as a person.
Time to turn up the heat.
Way before the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Stan Lee's introduction for me personally was this game. And I never knew who he was back then, but I always thought he was cool. Even as a narrator, I was like, this guy sounds like he really knows what he's doing. And it made sense that it was, you know, Stan Lee. So let's move on. Again, this level's actually quite nice in a way.
Looks like a hidden passage.
I always did like this section of the game simply because the action ramps up and you finally know what's going on for the most part. And again, the police giving up their conquest of Spider-Man in this game is very weird.
They'll have to go.
You'd think they'd be on him 24/7 even if they did destroy half of New York trying to catch you earlier. But who knows? I never did quite understand why that plot strand was dropped as quick as it was. Unless if they found another lead or something. So as you can see, the web balls destroy those machine things really quickly compared to combat. And it would be nice if I could aim. There we go. We are running low on red cartridges again.
Time to get to the bottom of this.
Can't remember if there's a comic on this level. I think there is. Don't think it's here though. Oh, that'll be useful. The game does give you quite a lot of fire web cartridges from this point onwards, which is quite good as well. Okay, there we go. Let's go through here. I always like the soundtrack of this level as well.
An enormous ventilation shaft. Must be something big down there.
Yes, a vent, most likely.
I like the concrete, the dripping water, very nice. Spider sense tingling.
Okay, it is possible to die here, so you have to navigate this extremely carefully. There we go. That's normally covered up on the easier difficulties.
Looks like this is it.
If you drop down here, this will be the end of the level. However, we want to make our way across because there's a secret... Thank God I didn't drop then, I thought I was going to. There's a secret area here.
Golden.
I thought Spider-Man had a line about...
This place blows.
Yeah, there we go. There's the line. I knew Spider-Man had a crip about that room. And I never did quite get that joke for quite a while. Because I'm dense.
Geronimo!
And that's the end of the level. And then we've got... The next level is probably the most surreal level of the game.
Woo! What a rush!
Okay, it'd be nice if I could rotate the camera, to be honest. That's starting to be a glaring flaw in this game now I look at it. Because I'm so spoilt by contemporary games where I can actually control the camera.
You gotta be kidding. Okay, recap. A couple of 100 feet underwater, electrified floors and walls, and deadly turrets pointing straight at me. Oh, my day just keeps getting better and better.
Yep, on this level, this can be really tough. On easy and kid mode, and possibly normal, you have a bridge, so you don't have to do any swinging or anything. Here, you have to literally swing to each side of the room. And imagine if you worked down here, this would be the weirdest job ever. Be the weirdest corridor to walk down every single time. So I like to use the targeting mode here because it's quite useful. Let's see. These turrets do a lot of damage as well, so be very careful because they can take a lot of your health down very quickly. Like, oh good, they didn't do anything then. Okay, we'll do this as sneaky as possible. I like to use web balls on these guys because it's a one-hit knockout for them. But it's very easy to lose web cartridges, as you'll no doubt be able to see. Please don't shoot me down.
Hey, you could put someone's eye out with that.
There we go. I like to take my time with this level because it can be a real pain. There we go. Don't need the health just yet for once. Oh, and if you fall down here and land on the blue bits, you will die. I think you can die from standing in that too.
Who built this place?
Fortunately, there's a web cartridge here, which will be useful. And which one's closer? I feel like I'm missing something here. Which one's closer? I believe it's the top one. Or have I just got to risk it? Well, we'll risk it. There we go. Hide. Oh, that was some Matrix dodging there. How did that even hit me? That should not have hit me. Oh, okay, that's a bit risky. Right. Jump, swing, destroy.
I'm getting the feeling somebody doesn't want me here.
destroy these as quick as possible. I'm trying to remember if you can web them up as well, but maybe not in this game. In the sequel, I think you can. Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro, which I might play at some point. I don't know if I'll play it yet, but... Mate, oh my god, I might actually die. Oh, I missed. Quick, quick, quick. Phew. I don't know if I'll play Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro, because I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. It's an okay game, but it's not as good as this one, I find. But it does do some interesting things to try and make it different from this game. I do have a copy of it, and I can easily rip it to my PC, but who knows. I don't think I'll play it straight away. I'll probably do it in the future when I feel like doing it.
The bill for this place must be enormous.
Oh, that
That crime didn't pay.
yeah, that I definitely agree with that. I imagine there's a lot of aircon here too. And there we go. This opens up a secret area all the way at the back of the beginning of the level. So we're going to go back there, even though it's probably a stupid idea to do so. Because there's a comic we can get, as well as a few other goodies. Assuming I can actually target something. No, okay. Please. Why didn't you swing to anything then? Thanks for that. I've got to do all that all over again. Great.
Woo! What a rush!
Shouldn't have jumped to the centre. It's my own fault. I should have aimed more to the left or the right as opposed to the centre. Okay, I'm skipping that because we already know. Right. Let's try and do this again. Preferably with good aiming if we can. Now that I figured out the turrets and how they shoot, it's actually useful to see that they have
someone's eye out with that.
It's useful to see that they have a delay on how long they can actually shoot for. So I think it's at least 2 or 3 seconds before they shoot again. Okay, I actually need the health. Fine. Oh, Spider-Man's animation glitched out then briefly.
Who built this place?
Okay, might as well grab this. More turrets. Hide, hide, hide. That was bullshit. That should not have hit me. I like to try and take all the turrets out just to make going back a bit easier. And then I don't have to worry about them potentially hurting me. Like that. Quick.
I'm getting a feeling somebody doesn't want me
Oh,
here.
great. I was a bit too slow then. I think you can kind of cheat it so you can still shoot at them when hanging off the edge, so I might try that next time.
How far down are we?
It's really annoying as well because the next level is actually very easy compared to this. Yes, that trick does actually work. I wasn't sure if it would. So yeah, try that again. Why don't you? Certain platforms allow you to do that, which is useful.
Hey, you could put someone's eye out with that.
Okay, we'll screw that one
I'm
down
already
there.
at full
We should
health.
be okay.
Who built this place?
Okay, grab the web cartridge. Don't need the health, which is useful. Now this one I think we can cheese out, because this is the one that killed me last time. Okay, they can cheese it out, but I can't. That's ridiculous. No, I'm not accepting that. Come on.
I'm getting a feeling somebody doesn't want me
Oh
here.
my god. Why does this keep happening? This is going to be the new Subway level, isn't it? As in, it's relatively straightforward, but I keep dying.
Woo! What a rush!
This is not my idea of a rush, because I keep dying and having to start off again and again and again. Skip. Okay. One thing that Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro did improve on is you could shoot web balls whilst you were swinging in the air. Annoyingly, this game does not have that option. So it adds to the challenge. Okay, take you out.
Hey, you could put someone's eye out with that.
Well done, Spider-Man. Use the targeting mode again.
Who built this place?
I can't actually remember the names of all the levels off the top of my head because they all have unique names, and if I knew them off the top of my head, that just proves I've played this game far too much. And I have played this game far too much, but not to the point where I can remember every single level name that isn't the boss names. Okay, good. Just in time. Do some dodging. Fire.
I'm getting a feeling somebody doesn't want me here.
Thank you for missing. That was much appreciated. There we go. Swing. I was so grateful that actually worked.
The bill for this place must be enormous. And I thought crime didn't happen.
Now, can we get back to this secret area without dying, please? Because that would be very nice for me. Now, this time, aim more for the left. There we go. That was a bit of a tight jump, but I was able to do it. Again, on easy and normal, at least I think on normal, there is a bridge here, so this you don't have to worry about. And definitely on kid mode, there's definitely a bridge on kid mode. It'd be very bizarre if there wasn't. Okay, so the door is down there, and I'm trying to remember what the best way to get there is. Let's grab the health. Can we swing to this? Sometimes the web slinging mechanics can let you down occasionally. It's just showing the age of the game, but it can occasionally let you down. There we go. So, web cartridge, comic, and some health. Might not be worth it to you personally, but I'm just doing it because I know about it. Although it might be worth actually playing this game on a much easier difficulty to get all the collectibles and then come back and play it on hard when you don't have to worry about it like I'm doing. And now we just got to make our way back through the level, and then I think that's pretty much it for this part. And I think there's one more regular level after this before the end game properly begins. Okay, this is going to be a bit tense because I always hate making jumps like this on this level. This is the only level in the game where I get nervous about the jumps. There we go. Just don't get cocky and we'll be fine. I do like the themes for these levels though. I always found them to be really like some of the best techno in the game. Okay, one more area and then I think we're done. Can we activate this again? No? Okay. I didn't actually aim it properly then. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Fine. Right. Which of these? Okay, that one definitely. Assuming nothing can hit me.
Okay, quit shooting the lasers.
I agree with that sentiment entirely. How did that even hit me? That should not have worked. Dickhead. And yes, I am calling a turret a dickhead. I think I'm allowed. So we can cheese out the physics there, and we're done. Assuming I can get over there. There we go. And that's it. And we get this nice trippy corridor. Not quite as trippy as the corridors we've just been in, mind you, but equally trippy.
This must be where the fog is coming from. Who is behind all this?
Yeah, I wonder who. I wonder who could possibly be responsible for all of this. Now, there's some Spidey armour up here, but I'm not going to go there just yet because we want to go in the security control area first for one specific reason.
We have a winner.
Hey, Black Cat.
Spider-Man! I'm so happy to see you.
Black Cat, what are you doing? Who's behind? What's going on here?
Your guess is as good as mine. The guys in the ambulance must have drugged me because the next thing I knew I woke up here. You gotta get me out of here.
Okay, Cat, but how?
If you can somehow shut down the power, I can escape.
You got it, Cat.
Yeah, that's normally how it works. So yeah, this is the only room that's available to you at the beginning, so just open this. And we can start to drain all the power or whatever it is we're doing. I think it's just shutting everything down. But before we do that, let's get some Spidey armor because it will be useful for later, assuming the symbiotes don't damage us first.
Ah, the old trusty Spidey armor.
Okay. And I'm doing this out of order, but that's fine.
Bingo! If I read this right, this panel controls the exhaust ports. If I can jam the exhaust ports without stopping the flow of fog, it'll be like a banana in a tailpipe. That ought to blow the power, too.
So this is the control room from the beginning of the game. In that one cutscene, the introduction cutscene. So a nice bit of full circleness going on there.
Step in the right direction, but not enough pressure.
So we've done this out of order, so now if we go back to A, because I usually like to do this in A, B, C order, but this time apparently we're not going to. And why activate it with your fist when you can just web sling it? And this is incredibly risky to do in real life. Like if you were going to blow up a factory, I would personally not want to be in there at the same time. Okay, that was a bit risky then, but that's it, that's the end of the level. It's a very quick, easy level to do. It's much easier than the previous one we were just done. And that somehow frees Black Cat, apparently.
Yes, that does it!
Thanks, Spider. Whatever you did, it worked.
Hey, what else is a Spider-Man for? You go and get some help, Cat. I'll find out who's behind all this.
You got it. I'll be back.
Imagine if this entire plot was held by the weakest Spider-Man villain ever. Just pick your choice, who you think the weakest Spider-Man villain is. Imagine if they were the mastermind behind this game. Or this game's plot.
Listen, whoever you are. No one can control the symbiotes. No one!
I need not control the symbiote, Spider-Man.
Doc Ock?
We will work as one. It is a new
Why are you so
world.
surprised?
Humanity needs the skills that my technology will give them. Symbiosis is the only way.
I should have known a reformed Doc Ock was too good to be true.
A perfect world order. Those who cannot share my vision will be crushed by it.
Speaking of crushed, it's showtime, freaks. Ooh, I smell bad symbiote, and it ain't me.
Yay, another character whose mouth can move.
Alone at last.
Let us end this, Spider-Man.
I do find it interesting that the developers decided to make Venom and Carnage as expressive as possible, and then everyone else is just a blank slate.
You will never get past my barrier, Spider-Man.
He's right. I need to find some way to draw power away from his shield.
And the funny thing is, Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro doesn't even have that. So there's, as far as I can remember, there's no other character whose mouth actually moves, so everybody looks incredibly stiff. And bizarrely, in Spider-Man 2, they look even more stiff than in this game. At least to me, personally. So this boss fight is incredibly repetitive, and it's actually easier than Mysterio is. So all we have to do is just activate these switches a number of times, and then just punch and kick Doc Ock until he's dead. Well, not dead, but until he's knocked out.
That's it. Time to pay the piper, Ock.
And if you're playing this on an easy difficulty, this only takes 1 or 2 hits, but because we're on hard,
Looks like his shield is
we're going to be doing this for quite a while. We've actually lost quite a bit of our Spidey armor already, which is rather annoying because I would have liked to have saved it for the next level. And you'll see why when we get to it. Oh, we can swing in it, but again, you don't want to be on the walls because Doc Ock will just knock you off with his arms. And I don't know about anyone else, but I always considered Doc Ock to be the definitive Spider-Man villain. Not necessarily the best Spider-Man villain, but the one most likely to go against Spider-Man. I don't know if I'm alone in that or if that's the general consensus. I can't remember, but that was the impression I always had. And it's because of this game, to be honest. I put all of my Spider-Man knowledge on this game, because all of my pre-existing knowledge of Spider-Man started because of this game. So let's punch. Oh, and the animated TV series as well, because I did used to watch that.
Now you die.
And I used to like the cartoon series. I always found it to be a lot of fun. And I think we are going to lose the Spidey armor, unfortunately. Get all the web cartridges we can, even though we don't really need them necessarily. There we go, we've lost the armor. Okay, let's just carry on as normal. Imagine if these barrier things were just a little bit taller so we couldn't jump over them, then we'd be screwed. The annoying thing is, Doc Ock can actually get some really good hits on you, but he's not necessarily difficult, and he doesn't... I find it very rare to die to Doc Ock, to be honest. I'm usually more likely to die from every other previous boss than Doc Ock. Ooh, that was a good hit though, I'll give him that.
You will never destroy me.
I also find it interesting how towards the end of the game is the part where all the power-ups start to have a limited amount of time on screen before they disappear. It's just an interesting thing that I've only just realised now that I'm older. Okay, this should be the last one we need to do, or if it's not this one, then it will be another round of this before we knock him out. Okay, can we do it? Just in time.
I am defeated.
And Doc Ock has a really nice final line there. No, we do not want to save our progress.
Cannot end this way.
One down, one to go. Wonder how Venom's doing.
Does that answer your
Are
question?
you alright? Talk to me. Wake up, Brock.
Look out. Behind you.
What'd you say?
And now we're going to fight Carnage, and this level is one of my favourite levels in the game. It's quite creepy.
That's a sonic bubble in the middle of the room. Seeing as how the only two things that symbiotes hate are fire and sonics, I'm guessing Ock made it just in case Carnage tried to double-cross him.
Let's get the comic. And that was terrible. Let's try that again. I got greedy and tried to get the comic, and then the camera let me down.
What color do you please, Spider-Man?
Oh, and we actually got the comic as well, which is good. And I've lost all my red cartridges, which is annoying because I needed them for this battle. So what I like to do here is try and get Carnage into the sonic bubble. If I can stop doing that, that's what I want to do. And I missed entirely. Well done, me. I can't even remember if this level even gives you any web cartridges. If they do, it's very limited. Get in there. Okay, there's a web cartridge. I would really like it. Can you get in there, please? That's better.
Hey, loud enough for you?
Now what I like to do is just keep webbing him every so often so he stays in there. Because otherwise, oh god, he will get out and he will destroy you.
Venom couldn't stop me. What makes you think you can?
This level is actually much harder than the Doc Ock fight simply because Carnage is a lot more dangerous. And I never quite understood why, you know, Spider-Man says about Carnage potentially double-crossing Doc Ock, but logically that's what he would do. Like, I'm not quite sure why Doc Ock would always think, oh yeah, no, Carnage is entirely trustworthy, let's just keep him around. I mean, that's why he built this machine, but still, I wouldn't want to work with Carnage. I wouldn't trust him enough. Despite him being one of the coolest characters ever. I wonder if he'll be in the Venom film, although I doubt it, because Sony want to focus on Venom. And I'm actually looking forward to that film. I haven't talked about it particularly, but considering that Sony have wanted to make a Venom solo film for about, well, over a decade at this point, it's about time they actually got to make that film that's been their dream super villain film for years. Okay, this should kill him.
Hey, loud enough for you?
Well, one more then. And yes, I am glitching the web just because it says wasting it. And there's Carnage down. No.
You are a born loser, Cletus Cassidy. Like I told Mysterio, no one can control the symbiotes. No one I've met, anyway. Take a breather, Spidey. It's over. Well, just another day in the life. Whoa! What's up? Is that Hawk?
And there's the shock twist. That, when I first played this game, years ago, never expected this to be a level. And it's absolutely terrifying.
This is gonna blow. I gotta get out of here.
Playing through this level the first time when I was a kid was one of the most thrilling moments ever. Because I wasn't expecting it. 2, it was absolutely terrifying. And then 3, it took me ages to complete.
R1 to zip line up quickly.
Literally beating this level was an event. And there's a lot of adrenaline behind this level. It's absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best levels in the entire game. It's very difficult the first time you play it, but it's very thrilling to play. And I can beat this level very easily nowadays, but it is very easy to die as well, so be very careful.
Keep swinging, Spidey. This thing's unstoppable.
Try not to talk too much here because of concentration reasons. But this level basically tests you to see if you've mastered how to use the web controls. Because if you've mastered them, then you're absolutely fine. And as long as you get the general pattern of the level, then you'll be absolutely fine. And don't stick to walls because that will slow you down. It's very easy to do that by accident. And I kind of glitched out there. I have actually died on this level a few times because of falling through the floor and various other things. This level's a bit buggy in that regard.
Pressure's really building.
And I'm not even paying attention to how close Monster Ock is to me, because that's his name, Monster Ock. He's just a character made up for this game, and he's meant to be Doc Ock merged with a symbiote. So, but when I was a kid, I kept thinking it was Doc Ock mixed with Carnage, mixed with pretty much every villain in this game. I was a very imaginative kid. Because I used to think his feet were like rhinos, and then I thought he had elements of Scorpion in him and various other things. But clearly that's not meant to be the case. There we go, got the 2 comics. They're quite difficult to get actually, so I'm surprised I did that without dying, because it's very easy to do. And I'm actually running low on rebs, which is a problem. Fortunately, Spidey sense actually helps you out quite a bit here,
Stretch, baby.
because it tells you when to use zipline. Okay, I got stuck on a wall then. I think this is it. Is this it? Yeah. We've beaten the game, peeps. We're done.
No, Ock! After all that, it was the symbiote that saved Ock. You've got to be kidding. Perfect end to a perfect day. Huh? What the?
It's a good thing Black Cat gave me a call, son.
Looks like just in time.
Hey, Spidey, can you get us Captain America's autograph?
Oh, brother.
Punisher, do you have any threes?
Go fish. So, nice of you to join us for once, Spidey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was out saving the world. Beating you guys at cards ought to be pretty easy.
Your spider sense won't save you here.
Look who's talking, Daredevil. You've been looking at my cards all night.
I don't need to look at your cards, Punisher. Your bluffs are so obvious.
Okay. Let's keep
I just love how they've got a blind guy to play cards. It's genius.
Who keeps inviting this guy?
Never realised it as a kid.
Will you guys keep it down?
Hey, loosen up, kids. I'm on fire!
So punny.
Wait, hold on. Time out. All of you guys were working together, and you still couldn't take down Spider-Man?
It's not my fault.
Mysterio's poster in the background.
Everyone knows you can't control the symbiote.
Hey, wait! So, I'm a rhino, you're a scorpion, and he's an octopus.
Well, not literally.
What's a Mysterio?
And what's this guy meant to be?
So, Rhino, you got any threes?
Hey! Hey, I got a bingo! Ha ha! You guys think you're so smart, but I won! Ha! Who's your daddy, Doc Ock? Ha ha ha! Victory is mine! You're always laughing at me, but who's crying now, huh? Ha 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 ha! Wait a minute, I made a mistake.
Not quite sure how the 5 of them can share that prison cell, but yeah, there you go. That's the end. And we've beaten Spider-Man on the hard difficulty. So the credit sequence should roll round about now. And there we go. There's one of our 2 unlocked costumes that we've just got. That's the Captain Universe costume there. Oh, Joel Jewett, he's actually a cheat code for this game, if I remember correctly. So you have to type a certain cheat in, and you can unlock Joel Jewett as a character model. And he replaces JJ on the Scorpion boss fight. And here's another Spider-Man theme remix. Now, if you play this on Kid Mode, Easy or Normal, the character that will be standing here will be the symbiote Spider-Man, not Captain Universe. Love how the dog is called Logan. Well played. And yes, this was a game published by Activision before Activision became the evil publisher that they ended up becoming. I don't think Activision were doing anything too unethical around this time period, but again, I could be wrong. I just don't remember Activision doing anything too crazy at this point in history. So in 2000. Same goes for EA, incidentally. Activision and EA were the kind of companies that I never really paid attention to until they became a lot more negative. Oh, and Rhino Romano as Spider-Man, yeah. He was also the voice of Revan in Knights of the Old Republic as well. And Jennifer Hale. Didn't realise she was in this game. That's nice to know. D. Bradley Baker, I think I've heard of before as well. I'm just seeing if there's any voice actors I can recognise. And of course, Stan Lee as himself. Didn't make a cameo though, like he would end up doing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films. But yeah, it's been fun playing through this again. It's a very short game by today's standards. It's very easy to actually progress through. You can beat it within a day if you really put enough effort in. But when it first came out, this actually took a number of weeks to beat because I wasn't overly familiar with it at that point. Wait, Activision has a mum and a dad? How does that work? It'll be interesting to do a comparison of the credits for this game and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 to see if the development team is exactly the same across both games. Because again, both games reference each other quite a lot. Ah, the late nights and the early mornings. Yeah, that's game development for you. Leeds for the championship. I don't like football, but that is quite funny. And the League of Gentlemen, nice. Just seeing if there's any other funny credits here. I didn't actually realise the credits for this game were this long. I thought they were much quicker. Until next time, true believers. And yes, it's not necessarily the end because there's Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro as well, which I might play at some point in the future, but not right now. And then we've got the play again option, so I might as well just show off a couple of things. Costumes, we've now got the Symbiote Spider-Man, which has unlimited webbing. And we've also got Captain Universe, who also has unlimited webbing, as well as being invulnerable to any damage, apart from drowning and falling off buildings, and enhanced strength. And then we've still got 4 more costumes to unlock, but we're not going to do that because one requires all of the comics to be picked up, one requires beating the game a second time, and then 2 or 3 others require you to do the training stuff. It might actually just be 2 that have the 2 stupid powers, I can't remember. So that's all the costumes. We got level select, which has every single level that we've played through, and you can just select one of these at any point you want now that you've got them. That's something I miss from a lot of games, to be honest. And then on the gallery, we can look at every single character,
alter ego,
and you can have Stan Lee narrate over them. We're not going to go through all of them though, otherwise we'll be here for absolutely ever. You can watch every single cutscene in the entire game because we've unlocked them. We can look at all the comics we picked up. So we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 21 out of 32 comics from the looks of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, okay. So we're missing 11 comics, and we've got, you know, I'm not quite sure where I've missed them, but again, I've never been able to get all the comics in a single run. Game covers, that's just all the issues again. So you can look back at those. Storyboards are quite interesting because there are a number of differences within them for each cutscene. But I think one, if you look at the storyboard for the finale cutscene, there's, I think the lizard's in it, even though he never makes an appearance in the final game, apart from that one level. So lizard is somewhat, yeah, on the bottom right panel, the lizard is in the prison cell, even though he never appears in the game after the sewer levels. So that's quite interesting from a developer standpoint. It's interesting to see how the developers worked on the cutscenes before actually creating the character models and rendering the locations and so on and so forth. And that's pretty much it, I believe. Now, there is a second mode for this game that you can play in the form of the What If mode, which basically changes the content of the levels slightly, so it's a lot more goofier and it's a lot funnier and it's a lot more breaking the fourth wall kind of deal. But we're not going to play that today because I want to save that for the future. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and this has been Spider-Man by Neversoft on the PlayStation. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.